It's the wee hours of Sunday morning, my dudes. Time to show up. I'm showing up. I'm glad you're showing up. I appreciate every single one of you. Do the little YouTube dance, like, comment, subscribe, all that happy horse shit. We got to talk about the Stop Killing Games initiative. The discourse actually doesn't matter because the initiative is morally wrong on its face. It's not about stopping publishers from killing games. What it's actually about is compelling publishers to do work that they don't want to do with force of law. And it is morally wrong to use force or the threat of force to alter the behavior of otherwise peaceful people. The game publishers are not inflicting any kind of violence upon you. They're not using force on you. All they are doing is stopping the thing they don't want to do anymore. That's it. They have been providing a service, and they don't want to provide it anymore, so they're going to stop. You can't make them keep providing it. It's just not something you can do. And if you try, you're not going to get the results you want. On top of this, if we actually get this initiative in front of the EU and they start figuring out, okay, what exactly is the language of this statute going to be? They're not going to talk to you and your stupid little friends that signed the fucking petition. They're going to talk to the executive leadership of publishers and developers and their small army of attorneys who actually know how law works, because those are their friends. They play golf together. They play squash at the club. They have drinks down at the pub. You don't hang out with legislators. You don't have lobbyists that work for you. You don't have attorneys to submit specific legal objections. You don't have the tools that the publishers have to influence this process. You're not going to get the law you want. You're going to get a law that doesn't deliver what you want. And I absolutely guarantee you that when the publishers get in the ear of the legislators and say, here's what that language needs to be, they're going to enshrine in that law just how hard they can fuck you and just how much you can't do jack shit about it. Because that's always what happens. This is the way that legislation against corporate operators has always gone throughout the history of ever. You're not going to get what you want from this initiative. It's going to backfire. It's going to make things worse. Even if the language of the statute is what you want it to be and says what you want it to say, it's just going to stop people from building things you want them to build. And if it doesn't say what you want it to say, it's not going to get you what you want it to get. It's not going to work. Even if you get it through, it's not going to work. It's not going to do what you want. You're going to end up worse off, and it's going to be your own stupid fault. Anyway, that's enough of that. Let's do some art, because we haven't done art in a good long while. So let's jump back in here and we'll do some we'll do some thinking and work on portraiture, because I'm on the wrong layer. Let me come down here and go. Which one's that? That's that one. Okay, so let's start out by creating a new layer, and then let's shift click and create folder, and we're going to take that folder 3 and we're going to put it in comparison over here. And up here on layer 2 is just a standard rastered layer. Bring up our object palette and we will move this over here. Get ourselves a better we'll get a better look at that reference. Better view of it. Let's put it over here. There we go. And I want to mask this off. So let's there we go. That's a good size right there. And let's grab our marquee tool. We got our rectangle selected, so let's grab that. So let's go a little bit higher. Grab that. Then let's create a mask. Layer mask, mask outside selection. There we go. All right, that works. Move a layer, we'll move that around, we'll move that over here. Okay. There we go. Obviously, I'm still fixated on Huong because I'm a simp. But let's think a little bit. Let's work with the airbrush here. Let's go. Let's look at the shape of the nose. And it curves around there. I'm not good at portraiture. I don't feel very confident with it. There's and if that needs to that around there. Got this kind of got this sort of this shape here. Yeah, kind of right in there. Yeah, that shape, and then we got this sort of up around that. We got this hook, and then we got the shadow up along the sides of the nose, and then that kind of fuzzes out. There's also Huong has this thing on this side of her face. She has this little kind of angled area. It's like there's an asymmetry right here. And you can see this kind of, here's the orbit of the eye socket right there. And here's the actual eyeball, and you can see kind of that. You can see that round eyeball in there. If I zoom in here, you can kind of see that here here's that round eyeball sitting in the socket, and then you got this little pink bit over here, the pink bit over here. You got the two eyelids, and go over top of it like so. And there's this sort of sweeping bit here that goes up just to the top of the eyeball, and then kind of midway there's that double fold, there's that double eyelid fold. She's got these bags under her eyes. I think that's supposed to show that she's like tired and poor and destitute and all of that. And it's the same kind of thing over here. You've got the big round eyeball in there, and just under the top edge is that double eyelid fold. There's a little pink bit. Here's the top eyelid, bottom eyelid there. The eyebrows are interesting because you kind of have these two different areas. You got the side. Well, you got three actually. You got the side here, and then up top you have this kind of sweeping over, and then you've got kind of this additional. So you've got the top is all kind of swept over like this, and the bottom is kind of up and pushed over. So you've got this this spray kind of thing where they come down from the top, they come up from the bottom, and there's this sweep that goes in there. And that all comes over to, it's just coming up at this point. But then you get just up, and then the just up comes over here, and you get the top over comes along. And I've been looking at how that all fits together and trying to like get a good understanding of it. There's also the shape of the mouth there. Huong has a fairly unobtrusive philtrum. It's not very clear. And she has this kind of bow lip thing going on. And it's, there's ambient occlusion that happens in there. And then you got the cheekbone. The cheekbone comes around and it's fairly shallow. So you get sort of, you get this shape here. And then you get this shape here. Comes around. And then, and those cheekbones are shallow and they're pretty low. That's like if we look at kind of the contour lines of this, then right here is where this sort of swoops around, and then this is all very kind of swooping inward. It's concave, and then here we've got kind of this swoop in and swoop around. And I'm really trying to think about how form works on all of this and what the actual 3D shapes are. And I kind of love that she has this little asymmetry here, where it's like she's got this much wider bridge of the nose on one side. It's just kind of lopsided. But maybe I'm not looking at it properly. Maybe it is symmetrical. It's just a difference in the way that I'm thinking about it. Well, we've got kind of this form here and this form here. This is how the eyes fit together. You get kind of the lower eyelid and the upper eyelid wraps around it, and then you have this perfectly round eyeball sitting in there with the pink on either side, like so. And you've got, you see right here, and right there, and you've got this kind of rhomboid shape, like so. The highlight in the pink part of the eye here. Right there. There's a little highlight in there. There's a little highlight over here. And of course, all of this is three-dimensional. It's not just it's not just lines. These have thickness. There's an underside and an upper side to the lid. You can see that if you look in here. If you look on the water line, you can see there's a pink line right there, and there's a less pink line along here. So that's kind of, you have these contours there, and then up along the top we've got that little shelf there, and you can see that bit. That's two lines right next to each other, not just a single line. And I'm working exclusively in black at this point because I'm trying to think in terms of just the edges and the form and the values. I'm trying to get a good feel for the structures of the face. And in particular, here we've got kind of this, got these planes of the face here, and this is where it swoops around, like so. And then it swoops up, so. And then we've got that little line that comes down along the side of the face. There again, the philtrum, top of the lips, ambient occlusion between the lips, bottom of the lips. There's a little shadow under. Here's a little shadow above the chin. Identify kind of the form there. And this would loop outward just a bit. With this kind of comes straight down and swoops inward kind of dramatically once it gets down to the edge. It's just kind of this very sort of sharp edge there. But other than that, it's fairly smooth and fairly flat. We've got a kind of sweeping area there. So we've got kind of plane shape here, and we've got this is kind of the top of the nasal opening. Then down along here we got the the cartilage of the nasal bone. We got the wings of the nostrils here. We got the nose itself there. Nostrils are tough. I mean, they're not like real tough because they're just kind of this little shape. But getting them to look right is tough. It's the wings around the side. That's the difficult part. Mostly what I need to do on all of this is just kind of look at it and think about it and really get a solid feel for where the shadows go and where the anatomy is, and really kind of internalize all of this. There's a huge amount of faces and hands are the two things that we probably spend the most time looking at on people. So because of that, we're very sensitive to when they don't look right. Now, there's this little swoop there. I kind of that swoop on the nose. That is what kind of identifies Huong Le as Huong Le, because you could see here's the edge of the shadow here, and here's the edge of the shadow here. It just kind of cuts over. Like that's the thing that really like makes her look like her on the nasal bridge. That's a key element of the likeness. The shape of the mouth is also really important. I don't see a lot of people talking about how important the shape of the mouth is to like a specific person and the specific likeness of that person. I need to spend some time looking at the eyes, because the eyes are really, really detailed on this. And there's a lot in here to work with, because you got the outer kind of rim there. And then you've got this sort of you got the little striations and little all these little bits. Painting realistic eyes is like not easy at all. That's something I need to spend some time on. It kind of sweeps up there. And this is sort of, it's like this side of the if we made that symmetrical, it wouldn't look right. Most of the shadows here are like ambient occlusion. It's or they're cast shadows really in here. Kind of, there's a swoop to the mouth. And there's the lower lip, and then the upper lip kind of swoops upward. Fairly narrow philtrum. It's fairly high. The distance here. This distance here and this distance here, these kind of together, these are strong indicators of age. If these are short, then it's a very young person. You kind of have this, kind of have the nose, mouth, and chin very close together on a young person. And as a person gets older, they're substantially farther apart, and that's one of the ways that you indicate age on something like this. Yeah, that's basically all I got in me at the moment. But I definitely needed to spend some time working on portraiture. God damn camera that won't focus. But yeah, that's kind of that's what I'm thinking about in terms of art, is really kind of thinking about portraiture and looking at the features and trying to capture a likeness, which is more difficult than it looks. I've been working on it for months, and I'm still not very good at it, largely because I've been working on other stuff and doing other things and writing code and composing music. And anyway, that's where stuff is. And yeah, again, do the little YouTube dance, like, comment, subscribe, all that happy horse shit. And okay, bye.